Hello students, welcome to today's lecture of NCRT Chapter 7, that is Redox Reactions Theory Part 5. So in today's lecture, we are going to cover NCRT section 7.3.2. So now let's start the lecture. So here you can see the disclaimer that is displayed over your screen. Learning objective, that means what you will be able to understand after completion of this particular lecture. So after attending this lecture, you will be able to learn how to balance redox reaction using the oxidation number method. That means that you will be provided with the number of redox reactions and you have to balance them. You have to balance each and every atom that are participating in the reaction using the oxidation number method. The second one is that you will be able to master the step by step process of balancing the complex redox reactions in both the acidic and basic medium. So here it is mentioned that the reaction is being done in the presence of acidic and basic medium. So if you are given with a reaction that is being processed in acidic medium, then you have to balance it in that manner only. While for the basic medium, you have to balance according to that. Now moving ahead with the topics that are going to be covered in this lecture according to NCERT. So this is 7.3.2, that is balancing of redox reaction. In this balancing of redox reaction, we will use the oxidation number method. We will also solve the problem 7.8 and 7.9 and summary. So now let's start the lecture that what is balancing of redox reaction. That what is balancing of redox reaction and why do we need to balance a chemical reaction? Now balancing redox reactions equalizes atoms and charges on both sides by adjusting coefficients and electron transfer. That means how can you balance the redox reaction? You can balance the redox reactions by equalizing the atoms. That means the atoms that are participating in the reaction. So from the reactant and product, you have to equalize them and the charges on both the sides. By adjusting coefficients and electron transfers, you can equalize the atoms and charges by equalizing the coefficients that you will place ahead of the participating reactants and the product's form. In this way, you will be able to maintain uh, the equal atoms on both the sides. Now, how can we equalize the charges? So, by equalizing the electron transfer, we can clearly balance the charges on both the sides. So what we can say that? We can now say that balancing redox reactions by equalizing atoms means ensuring that the number of each type of atom is the same on both the reactant and product sides of the chemical equation. This is a crucial step in ensuring the equation accurately represent the chemical reaction as it adheres to the law of conservation of mass. So now let's understand this, that what is the importance of balancing in redox reaction. Chemical equations need equal atoms on both the sides in order to maintain the law of conservation of mass. Why? The balanced electron transfer ensures correct ratios in redox, that means a reaction in which oxidation reduction taking place. So it is the importance of balancing in redox reaction. Now, balanced equation help to calculate the exact amounts of reactant needed and the product form. That the balanced chemical equation had to calculate the exact amounts of reactants needed and the product formed. This means that it provides a stoichiometric ratios in between the substances. So why? Why we have used it? Because it is providing the stoichiometric ratios, and these ratios determined by the coefficients in the balanced equations and now the methods of balancing. One more thing here is that because the exact amount can be calculated by the help of balanced equation, because it will provide the stoichiometric ratios, and that could be identified by this coefficient in the balanced chemical equation. What will it do? It will allow the chemists to accurately predict how much of each reactant is required and how much of the product will formed. So this is all about the balancing of redox reaction and its importance. Now, what is the method of balancing, or what are the methods of balancing that are used to balance a chemical reaction? So this can be balanced by the two methods, and these two methods are the first two common methods to balance the chemical equation. The first one is the oxidation number method, while the second one is the half reaction method. The second one is the half reaction method. In today's lecture, we are only going to understand about the oxidation number method, that how can we balance the chemical redox reactions with the help of oxidation number method. So oxidation number method, the total increase in oxidation number must be equal to the decrease in the oxidation number. So it is important, or it is general formula for oxidation number method, that total increase in oxidation number must equal to the total decrease in oxidation number that is taking place in a chemical redox reaction. So the number of electron lost, if does not equal to the number of electron gained, this is absolutely not correct. That in a balanced redox reaction, these must be equal, then only the redox reaction or the reaction would be considered. So the increase in oxidation number of one atom must be made equal. It must be made equal to the decrease in the oxidation number to the other. Now, oxidation number method can be illustrated in the following steps. Example, balance the equation Fe2 plus 2Fe3 positive by Cr2 2 negative in acidic medium. So, first of all, we are balancing the redox reactions with the help of oxidation number change method. So, one way to balance the redox reaction is by keeping the track of electron transfer using the oxidation numbers of each of the atoms. So, here what we are doing? First of all, we will understand this oxidation number method, that how can we make these particular equal. So, what we will do? First of all, we will write the skeletal chemical equation for the particular reaction provided to us, and then we will try to balance the equation. Now, to understand this oxidation number method of balancing of redox reaction, we will take an example and understand this method with the help of that only. Now, step 1 is the skeletal ionic equation. So, if we write the skeletal ionic equation for the reaction mechanism that is provided, here it is written that the Fe2 positive is being reacted with Cr2O7 2 negative in the presence of an acidic medium, which leads to the formation of Fe3 positive. So, its skeletal ionic equation would be written as Cr2O7 2 negative aqueous medium plus Fe2 positive in the aqueous medium are reacting together to form Cr3 positive and Fe3 positive in the aqueous medium. So now here the ionic equation is being written, in which we can clearly see the number of ions are not equal. Now our task is to balance this particular ionic equation with the help of oxidation number method. And that depends on the total increase in the oxidation number must be equal to the total decrease in the oxidation number. Step 2 is assign the oxidation number of each atom involved in the reaction. That means as there are different type of atoms that are being participating in the reaction. So the first one is chromium, then oxygen, and then iron. So the chromium here, for oxygen and iron, we will be writing the oxidation number. So by looking at the complex, that is Cr2O7, 2 negative. So here the charge for of chromium would be 2x will be equals to 7 into minus 2, that would be equals to minus 2. So from here you will find that the chromium is having the oxidation number of plus 6, while if you look at the chemical reaction for oxygen, oxidation number of oxygen, you will find that it is minus 2. Now in Fe2 positive, the oxidation number is plus 2, and in Cr3 positive, the oxidation number is plus 3. And in Fe3 positive also, the oxidation number is plus 3, that is of Fe. So here we can clearly see the different oxidation number for the atoms that are being present in the reactant and the product. So after writing the skeletal equation and assigning the oxidation number, now let's move on to the third step. Now this is the reaction that we are balancing, and in the third step, what we have to do? In the third step, we have to identify the atoms which are being oxidized and reduced. As I have already told you, and we have studied about it in the previous classes, that the atom which is being oxidized can only be identified when there is increase in the oxidation number of a species. While if we consider the another species whose oxidation number is decreased, then we can consider that particular species to get reduced or being reduced. So here, if we look over the chemical reaction with the mentioned oxidation number, we can clearly see that the chromium is changing its oxidation number from plus 3 to plus 6, while oxygen, then it is Fe that is present in plus 2, and then it is being converted to plus 3. So if we consider the iron, that means here the iron is being oxidized. That means from plus 2 it is going to plus 3. That means there is increase in the oxidation number, which is directly signifying its property. While looking at the chromium, we can see that it is being converted from plus 2 to plus 3. That means the oxidation number has decreased and the chromium is reducing. Hence, the atoms are identified for being oxidized and reduced. So, iron is oxidized while chromium is reduced. Now, moving ahead in balancing the reaction by the oxidation number method. So, this is the reaction. And now, in the step 4, we have to calculate the decrease and increase in the oxidation number. So, how much particular decrease and increase we can clearly see in the reaction? If we look over to the oxidation number of iron, it is going from plus 2 to plus 3. That means it is increasing and means oxidized. And how much it has increased? It has changed from plus 2 to plus 3. That means it has increased by 1. Therefore, we can say that the increase in oxidation number per iron atom is 1, while therefore for 1 iron it will be 1. And now if we consider the oxidation number of chromium, as it has changed from plus 3 to plus 6 to plus 3, this means that there is decrease in the oxidation number per chromium atom, that is 3. Therefore, for 2 chromium atom it will be 6. Now, for this reaction, the step 5 would be equalize the increase and decrease of oxidation number and atom. how can we equalize this increase and decrease? As we have calculated the oxidation number, and we have also calculated that how much it has been increased or decreased. So here, if you multiply the iron atom by 6 and also multiply the chromium ion by 2 on the right hand side of the reaction, we can write it as Cr2O7 2 negative plus 6 Fe2 positive gives 2 Cr3 positive plus 6 Fe3 positive. So we have multiplied the iron by 6 on the both reactant and product, while we have only multiplied the chromium by 2 on the right hand side, as I have already told you that the requirement according to the chromium atom. Now, in the step 6, where you have to equalize the ionic charge, as it has been already mentioned in the question that when we consider the example that the reaction Cr2O72 negative plus Fe2 positive gives Cr3 positive and Fe3 positive, that the reaction is taking place in acidic medium. If it is mentioned that the reaction is taking place in acidic medium, that means we will take the S positive ions, while if we are taking the a basic medium, we will be dealing with then the hydroxide ion, not with the H positive ion. So now, to equalize the ionic charge, we will add the H positive ions on the left side of the reaction. Now, on adding the H positive on the left hand side, we can clearly see here that we have added 14 H plus. Why we have done that? Why the number is 14? Why we haven't placed here 10, 12 or any other another number? This has been done only to balance the reaction as given to us. So now, if you look here, you can find that in the reaction to maintain the ionic charge, like if you look here, it is there are Fe2 positive ions in 6, so 6 into 2 it is 12. While here you will find that it is 6 into 3, 18, and then 2 into 3 it is 6. 18 and 6, and here it is just 12. So in order to balance, we will write the 14H plus. So this is all the calculation that we have to make, and then put the 14H plus over the left side of the reaction. As we have written 14H plus, now we can clearly see that on the right hand side, there is something missing. There are no hydrogen ions in the product. Then how can we balance this thing? How can we maintain this? So after equalizing the ionic charge, as we have placed the H positive on the left hand side, we will proceed the final equation in the step 7. The balancing of oxidation number method for this given equation. Now we will equalize the hydrogen atoms. And how can we equalize the hydrogen atom? We can equalize the hydrogen atom by adding the water molecules on the right hand side. Now the question arises that how many water molecules you have to add, as it is mentioned over here that 7H2. So to equalize the 14H positive, we have to add 14H positive, that means 14 hydrogen ions on the right hand side also, and it can be added in the H2O form. So what will happen? The 7H2O molecules on the right hand side of the reaction would be written, and you will get the equation as Cr2O7 2 negative plus 6 Fe2 positive plus 14H plus gives 2 Cr3 positive plus 6 Fe3 positive plus 7H2O. All are in the aqueous phase except water, which is in liquid phase. So now if you verify each and every atom and count the atom that is participating in the reaction and the product, you will find that the number of chromium is 2, the number of oxygen is 7, while the number of iron atoms are 6 in both the reactant and product. One more thing, the number of hydrogen atom participating in the reaction is 14 on the both right hand side and left hand side of the reaction. As now each and every atom is equal in the chemical reaction in the reactant and product, then what we can consider? We can consider this equation as the balanced redox reaction. Because how it can be considered as a balanced one? Because if we look over the charge is balanced, and if you also look over to the atoms that are present in the reaction, or that are participating in the reaction, these atoms are also balanced. Therefore, the reactions can be balanced by the oxidation number method if we follow these 7 steps in a sequential manner. And then after following these 7 steps, we will find that at the end we will reach a stage where all the charges and the atoms are balanced or will get balanced in the chemical equation. I hope this oxidation number method is clear to you. Right now we have considered the example for the acidic medium. In further slides, we will consider the example. We will also consider one example for the basic medium also. So here, first of all, as we have studied about the acidic medium, let's solve a question that is problem 7.8 of NCERT. It is write the net ionic equation for the reaction of potassium dichromate, that is K2Cr2O7, with sodium sulfide, that is Na2SO3, in an acid solution to give chromium ion and the sulfate ion. So to balance this question with the help of oxidation number method, you are provided here with some time, and after that particular time, I shall provide you the correct answer to this question. So now let's look at the answer. So the solution for the provided ionic equation would be, in the first step, we have to write the skeleton ionic equation. So in this, the reaction is the dichromate ion reacting with the sulfide ions in acidic solution. So this would be Cr2O7 2 negative plus SO3 2 negative gives Cr3 positive plus SO4 2 negative. So in the step 1, we have written the skeletal ionic equation, in which we have mentioned all the participating reactants and the products that are formed by the chemical reaction. Now in the second step, our second step is to mention the oxidation number. So we will assign the oxidation number to each and every atom that are involved in the reaction. So if we look over the reaction, in the reactant, the chromium is having the oxidation number of +6, while in the product, it is having an oxidation number of +3. If you look over the oxygen, it is -2 in the reactant, while in the product also. And sulfur is existing in +6 in the product, and in sulfur it is +4. So it is clearly understood from here that the reactants do possess different oxidation state in the reactant and product. That means their oxidation number has been changed. Now let's continue this. Now the step 3 is to identify that which one is the oxidizer and which one is the reducer. That means we will identify that which atom has lost the electron and which one has gained the electrons. So this can be identified with the help of the atoms, or we can say that this can be identified with the help of the change in oxidation number. If you look over the reaction, we can clearly see here that the chromium has changed from +6 to +3. That means there is decrease in the oxidation number. That means there is reduction. While if you look over the sulfur, it is going from +4 to +6. That means there is increase in the oxidation number. That means there is oxidation. Hence, what we can conclude here? We can conclude that the sulfur is getting oxidized from ongoing from oxidation number +4 to +6. And chromium is getting reduced ongoing from oxidation number +6 to +3. Now, after identifying the oxidation and reduction or the oxidizing and reducing atoms, in the next step, that is step 4. So in this step, you will calculate the increase and decrease of oxidation number. That how much oxidation number has increased and decreased in the ongoing from reactant to product. So you can clearly see here in the reaction that chromium has, if you look over to the sulfur first. So in sulfur, it is going from +4 to +6. That means if we consider the increase in the oxidation number per sulfur atom, it is 2. While if we look over the chromium, we will also find it. So what we will see here that therefore for one sulfur atom, it will be 2. And if we consider the decrease in the oxygen number per chromium atom, it is 3. Therefore, for 2 chromium, it will be 6. So here we have calculated, till now we have calculated the oxidation number, increase or decrease in the oxidation number per sulfur and chromium atom. So the conclusion that we will be using in the next step is that for 1 sulfur it would be 3, 2, and for 2 chromium it will be 6. Now in the step 5, you have to equalize the increase and decrease of oxidation number and the atom. So in this reaction, we can multiply the sulfur atom by 3 on both the sides, also multiplying the chromium ion by 2 on the right side of the reaction. So if we look over the reaction, if we have to maintain a balance for the atoms, we have to keep the chromium and the sulfur atom equal. So by multiplying the sulfur by 3 on both the sides, we will find that the sulfur atom will get equalized, and by multiplying 2 with the chromium atom, we will find that the chromium atom will also get balanced. Now we will find that the atoms are balanced, but still we have to make the ionic charge equal. As it has mentioned that the reaction has been taken place in the acidic medium. So what we will do? We will equalize the ionic charge as the reaction has taken place in acidic medium. Now to equalize it, we will be adding the H positive ions at the reactant side. So these H positive ions would be 8. How we have calculated it? We have calculated it by understanding about the change in the oxidation number and the ionic charge in between the reactant and product. In order to equalize the ionic charge, we have added the 8 H positive ions onto the reactant side, and now our chemical equation is turned out to be Cr2O7 2 negative plus 3SO3 2 negative plus 8 H positive ion gives 2Cr3 positive plus 3SO4 2 negative, and all these are present in the aqueous state. Now in the step 7, we will equalize the hydrogen atoms, and these hydrogen atoms can be equalized by adding 4 H2O molecules on the right side of the reaction. So here, to maintain or to equalize the hydrogen atom, we are adding the 4 H2O on the right hand side also. This would be Cr2O7 2 negative plus 3SO3 2 negative plus 8 positive gives 2Cr3 positive plus 3SO4 2 negative plus 4H2O. All the compounds and atoms involved in the reaction are present in the aqueous state except the water, as its state is liquid. So now if we consider this final equation, we will find that Cr2O7 2 negative plus 3SO3 2 negative plus 8H positive gives 2Cr3 positive plus 3SO4 2 negative plus 4H2O. So the chromium, sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen all are present in the balanced form. Their number are equal, their charges are equal. Hence, we can consider this as the final balanced redox reaction. So this reaction is the balanced redox reaction as all the charges and atoms are balanced. So I hope now you have a clear idea about the balancing with the help of oxidation number method in basic medium. Now moving ahead to the next question, that is problem 7.5. In this you have permanganate ion reacts with bromide ion in basic medium to give manganese dioxide and bromate ion. You have to write its balance reaction with the help of oxidation number method. So now you have some time to solve this question, and after that particular time I shall provide you the correct answer to this question. So now let's look at the solution. So in the first step, we will be writing the skeletal ionic equation. The equation would be that as permanganate ions are reacting with bromide ions, therefore it is MnO4 negative plus Br negative, giving manganese dioxide, that is MnO2 and BrO3 negative. Please keep in mind we are solving this question in basic medium. So with this we will understand, with this question we will also understand the balancing with the help of basic medium. So here it is MnO4 negative plus Br negative gives MnO2 plus BrO3. In the step 2, we will assign the oxidation number to all the atoms that are being involved in the reaction. So the atoms that we have to write the oxidation number, it is Mn, Br, oxygen. So in the reactant, that the magnesium is present in the oxidation number +7, while the oxygen is present in -2. And the oxidation number for bromine is -1. So in the step 2, by writing the oxidation number to all the atoms that are involved in the reaction, we get the chemical reaction as MnO4 negative with the oxidation number mentioned for manganese to be +7 and oxygen to be -2. For bromide it is -1, and in the product it would be -4 for manganese, -2 for oxygen, and in bromate ion it would be -5 for bromine and -2 for oxygen. Moving ahead, after writing the skeletal equation and mentioning their oxidation number, we have to identify the atoms that are being oxidized and reduced. So keep in mind that all the steps would be same in the oxidation number method in both the acidic and basic medium, except the one in which we are equalizing the ionic charge. So the step 1 is also same, step 2 is also same, and again the step 3 in which we are identifying the oxidized and reduced atom. So in this, we will look towards the chemical reaction and find out that which one is being changed. That means in which the oxidation number has increased or decreased. So if you look over the manganese, its oxidation number has decreased from +7 to +4. While if you look over the bromine, its oxidation number has changed from -1 to +5. So in order to know about the and the reduced one. If we look over to the bromine, bromine is getting oxidized as its oxidation number has changed from -1 to +5. That means its oxidation number has been increased. And if we consider the manganese, so manganese has been reduced from +7 to +4. Why? Because the oxidation number is decreased. And if we consider decrease in oxidation number, that means that the reduction has taken place. Now, in step 4, we will calculate that how much increase and decrease in the oxidation number has taken place. So, to calculate the increase and decrease in the oxidation number, so it is for manganese, it would be from for manganese and bromine. We will calculate it, and first we will calculate for the oxidized one. As in it, the oxidation number always increased. So, the increase in the oxidation number for bromine atom or per bromine atom is 6. Therefore, for one bromine, it will be 6. And if we consider the decrease in oxidation number, as the decrease in the oxidation number is taking place as manganese, we will find that it is 3. And therefore, for one manganese, it would be 3. Now, continuing the step 5, what we will do, we will equalize the increase and decrease of oxidation number and atom. So, to maintain that particular thing, we will multiply the bromine atom by 1 on both the sides, and then we will also multiply the manganese ion by 2 on both the sides. So here, the equation that we will get will be 2MnO4 negative plus Br negative gives 2MnO2 negative plus BrO3 negative. So here we have multiplied the manganese one with the 2 on both the reactant and product. And as the bromine atom were equal, so I have mentioned over here that it is multiplied by 1 on both the reactant and the product. So by multiplying by the 1, it would be same. Okay. So in the step 6, we will, as all the atoms are balanced now, so now what's our main point? Our point is to equalize the ionic charge. As the reaction is taking place in basic medium, we will add the hydroxide ion on the right hand side of the reaction. And how much hydroxide ion would be added to the right hand side? That would only be clear by the ionic charge. So if we look at the reaction, we will find that the 2 hydroxide ion would be required to equalize the charge. That means our equation would turn out to be 2MnO4 negative plus Br negative gives 2MnO2 plus BrO3 plus 2OH negative. All the compounds or the elements that are participating in the chemical reaction present in the aqueous state except the one that is MnO2, which is present in solid state. So now, as we can clearly see, now we have to balance this hydroxide ion. Therefore, in the final step, we will equalize these hydrogen atoms. And these can only be equalized when we add the hydrogen onto the left side of the reaction. So what would happen? We will write the equation as 2MnO4 negative plus Br negative plus H2O gives 2MnO2 plus BrO3 negative plus 2OH negative. Here we have only required one H2O molecule because by adding only one H2O, we will find that each of the oxygen atom and hydrogen atom are clearly balanced by it. I hope it is clear to you. Now, if you will consider each and every atom, you will find that in the reactant and the product, both the reactant and the products are equal. Therefore, this reaction can be considered as the balanced redox reaction. Why? Because the charge and all the atoms are balanced. So I hope now you also have a clear idea about the balancing of redox reaction with the help of this method in the both the medium, that is acidic medium and basic medium. So now let's move on to the next question, which would be the last question. It is NCRT exercise problem 7.19. So here the problem is dichlorine heptoxide reacts with peroxide in basic medium to give chloride oxygen and H positive. So write the balanced chemical reaction for the given. So here you are provided with some time, and after that particular time we shall provide you the correct answer to this question. Now let's look over the solution. So in the first step we will write the skeletal ionic equation, and the equation would be chlorine heptoxide, that means Cl2O7 in the gaseous form, is reacting with peroxide, that means H2O2 in the aqueous medium. So this is giving ClO2 negative plus O2 plus H positive. Now in the step 2, what we will do? We will assign the oxidation number to all the atoms that are involved in the reaction. So we will write Cl2O7 plus H2O2 gives ClO2 negative plus O2 plus H plus, and with their oxidation number. So the oxidation number for chlorine would be plus 7, for oxygen it would be minus 2, and for hydrogen it would be plus 1, and oxygen it would be minus 1. While in the product it would be plus 3 for chlorine and minus 2 for oxygen. In O2 it is 0, and for H plus it is plus 1. So after writing the skeletal equation and assigning the oxidation number, our third step is to identify the atom which are being oxidized and reduced. So in this reaction, thus in this we can clearly see that in the chlorine it is plus 7, while in the product it is plus 3. Same here you will also clearly see the change in the oxidation number also. So if we see the oxygen is getting oxidized from minus 1 in H2O2 to 0 in O2, that means the oxidation number has increased from minus 1 to 0. So if there is increase in the oxidation number, that means there is oxidation. Why? If there is decrease in the oxidation number, that means there is reduction. So chlorine is getting reduced from plus 7 to plus 3. In the step 4, if we have to calculate the increase and decrease of oxidation number, how we will calculate? We will calculate the change in the oxidation number that has been increased or decreased. So for this particular chemical equation now, the increase in the oxidation number per oxygen atom is 1. While we can conclude now that for 2 oxygen it would be 2. And the decrease in the oxidation number per chlorine atom is 4. Hence, for 2 chlorine atom it would be 8. In the next step, that is step 5, equalize the increase and decrease of oxidation number and atom. So if we equalize this oxidation number, we will multiply the H2O2 and O2 by 4, and we will multiply the ClO2 negative by 2. So how can it be done? It can be done by multiplying, and after writing the equation, after writing the stoichiometric coefficient, you will find that the equation would change into Cl2O7 plus 4H2O2 gives 2ClO2 negative plus 4O2 plus H positive. And here, if you look over the hydrogen atom now, you will find them as balanced one. Same with the chlorine and oxygen atom. Now, as we have equalized the decrease and increase in the oxidation number and atom, now we have to equalize the ionic charge. And it is also mentioned in the question that the reaction is taking place in the basic medium. So for basic medium, we will be adding the hydroxide ion. So we will add the hydroxide ion on the left hand side of the reaction. So now you will find that in Cl2O7 plus 4H2O2 plus OH negative, this will equal to the 2ClO2 negative plus 4O2 plus H positive. This will turn out to be Cl2O7 negative plus 4H2O2 plus 4OH negative gives 2ClO2 negative plus 4O2 plus H positive. Now, in the final step, we will equalize these hydrogen atoms, and these can be equalized by adding the 4 water molecules onto the right side of the reaction. We have come to 4H2 molecules because we have to balance the hydrogen atom. And on the reactant side, now you can clearly see that there are 9 hydrogen atoms present. So in order to maintain that also, you will add 4H2 water molecules on the right hand side as there is 1 H plus already present. Now our final equation turns out to be Cl2O7 plus 4H2O2 plus OH negative gives 2ClO2 negative plus 4O2 plus 4H2O plus H positive. So this equation would now be neutralized, or we can say that there is one more step, that is step 8, that neutralize the H positive by adding OH negative to both the sides. So if we add OH negative to both the sides, this would be Cl2O7 2 negative plus 4H2O2 plus OH negative plus OH negative. That was present already, we have added right now. This OH was present already, and this OH we have added right now, and this would be 2ClO2 negative plus 4O2 plus 4H2O plus H positive plus OH negative. And now the step 9 to simplify this equation. After simplifying, we can clearly see here that the H plus, 1 H plus and 1 OH negative will combine to form water molecule. So we will write a reaction accordingly, that Cl2O7 plus 4H2O2 plus 2OH negative gives 2ClO2 plus 4O2 plus 5H2O. So in this, Cl2O7 is present in gaseous form, while H2O2 plus 2OH negative is present in aqueous form, and O2 is in gaseous form, and water is present in liquid form. So this reaction would turn out to be as the final redox reaction. We can consider this as the final redox reaction because the charge and all the atoms that are present in the reaction is balanced now. Is balanced. You can verify it by calculating it or by counting the numbers of the atoms that are participating in the reaction. I hope all these questions are clear to you. So now the summary. As in this lecture, we have covered the balancing of redox reaction. In the starting of the lecture, I told you that there are two methods or two main methods for balancing the redox reaction. And these two main methods, from these two methods, the first one is the oxidation number method. And the main point in oxidation number method is balancing the total increase and decrease in the oxidation numbers. While in the second one, it is half reaction method, in which It is split into oxidation and reduction half reactions and balance separately. So this I will be telling you in the next lecture, that how can we balance the chemical reaction with the half reaction method. Now the steps in balancing the reaction in the oxidation half method. As in solving the question, we have encountered that there are mainly 7 steps in the sequential manner that we have came across. So if we follow those particular 7 rules, we will solve the question or balance the chemical equation in a particular manner. So in the first one, we will balance the atom first and then the electron. We will also keep in mind that if the reaction is taking place in acidic medium, we'll add H positive to balance the hydrogen atoms. While in the basic medium, we will add OH negative to balance the charges. And in the final equation, we will always check that both the reactant and the product side would have or must have equal charges on the both side, and also the equal number of atoms participating in the reactant while forming the product. So this is all about the balancing of redox reactions with the help of oxidation number method in both the acidic medium and basic medium. I hope this lecture is clear to you with each and every concept that we have studied here. So with this, I end my lecture here. Thank you so much, everyone.